Greetings ladies and gents, and welcome to this patch video for Thief Lord taken from the website Royal Road. In this video we'll be doing chapters 61 and 62, and as always I hope that you enjoy, and if you do please consider subscribing to the channel. Chapter 61, Change of Pace. Cobra scowls at the ghoul while lightly nudging it with his toe. The big guy is clearly dissatisfied at how not being able to kill it alone, but that's life for you sometimes. It's dead now, though, and I can't waste even more time than we already have. I drop to my knee and start looking through its belongings. Cursed necklace, legendary, unknown. Is that all? What the hell? This job description promised me some powerful gear, and all I get is a stupid, unidentifiable necklace. What gives? Cursed necklace. I've never even heard of that. Is that a thing? I grind my teeth. Cursed items. In other games, these items usually hold tremendous power, but they also almost always come with a nasty side effect. Hell, sometimes they only have a nasty side effect. It's only common that these effects are not apparent until you actually put it on, and it's almost also common for the item to be impossible to remove afterwards. A highly risky endeavor, so to say. In my opinion, you would have to be a mighty stupid to equip one of these items without knowing the effects. I wonder if there is some way for me to figure out what it does. It's got a legendary tag, so worst comes to show, I might be able to sell it for quite a handful of gold. But how much could it be worth with a cursed tag? To be honest, I'm insanely lucky to get a legendary item drop. I already know that I only have a fractal of a % chance of dropping hard-rated quests. The finding one should actually make me roll around on the ground in ecstasy-fueled craze. Cursed items, though, that might just turn this entire find into a digital version of a joke. I just can't find it in myself to be happy until I figure out what it does. With a grunt, I pocket the necklace and start looking around. I'd be damned if that was all the loot I'm getting from the scrap storm, and I'd rather spend half an hour tearing the space brick from brick to find something of value rather than nearly empty-handed. There really aren't many places to check, though. There's a couple of sarcophaguses near the wall, and the room is already strangely devoid of urns after Cobra's little runaround. The only thing left is to check the still-open coffin. Heading over, I peer inside. Black Silver Gambler's Cape, uncommon, 17% physical resistance, plus 5 charisma, plus 3 luck, requires level 11. Contraband. Black Silver Gambler's Pauldrons, uncommon, plus 17 physical resistance, plus 3 endurance, plus 3 charisma, plus 2 luck, requires level 11. Contraband. Black Silver Gambler's Vest, uncommon, 22% physical resistance, plus 6 endurance, plus 6 charisma, plus 2 luck, requires level 11. Contraband. Black Silver Gambler's Gloves, uncommon, 17% physical resistance, plus 4 dexterity, plus 2 charisma, plus 2 luck, requires level 11. Contraband. Black Silver Gambler's Boots, uncommon, 17% physical resistance, plus 5 movement speed, plus 2 agility, plus 3 charisma, plus 2 luck, requires level 11. Contraband. 7 gold, 3 silver, 5 copper. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, I grin. The job didn't frick me over after all. Nice. I was getting worried there for a moment. This stuff. Oh yeah, this is quite an insane power boost for me. Not only am I gaining a couple extra % of resistance and physical damage, but I'm also getting a whole bunch of attributes in both charisma, luck, and endurance. With these items, I'm not in such a bad spot after allocating most of my attribute points towards charisma anymore. I quickly put on my new gear and check out the increased attributes. Nice. 15 points to luck, 10 to charisma, and 5 more to endurance, and a single point to dexterity. Hell, I'm not even worried about the loss of 1 point in wisdom at all. With these bonuses, my skill power will increase tremendously, and I can recruit 2 more underlings. It's exactly what I need. I quickly go into my inventory settings and deactivate the cosmetic upgrades I purchased for my gear. I usually forget about it, but I should really start deactivating it whenever I have my villain mask on. My armor blurs around me for a few seconds while the enchantments disappear. I'm left with a full set of darkened leather armor covered by a thin sheet of black silver. The metal is light and covers most of the vital spots, but it leaves my joints exposed as to not hinder any movements. My favorite piece is the helmet, which reminds me of a lighter version of the helmet of the Greek hoplite from ancient times. You know, without the feathers on top. The whole armor gives off a dark and ominous vibe, and I'm surprised this getup is what a bard would use to wear. In my experience, bards usually like to dress and draw attention, and not like some assassin who's out on a mission. I'm not complaining though, as I look pretty damn badass if I gotta say so myself. A pity I can't wear this stuff out in public. It would draw the eye of every greedy rogue from around here to the capital, and that's not the type of attention I want. After grabbing everything of value, it's time for we get out of here. We spent far more time in this heist than I planned to, and we've only got a couple minutes left until the summit is over. My cutthroats take point as the entire posse moves out. The crypts weren't as large as I expected, so it only takes a minute to arrive near the entrance where we link up with the two agents. Reaching it, one of my cutthroats immediately enters stealth and moves upstairs. Half a minute later, he returns, giving me the V sign with a thumbs up. That means there are two enemies within sight, but they are both easily manageable. I suppose this is a great opportunity to try my new blitz maneuver when I come up with. Both my cutthroats immediately enter stealth and head upstairs. My prowlers activate their lesser stealth abilities and follow after, and the rest of us trail behind. My cheap shot ability has a couple of minutes left on the cooldown, but as soon as I see who the two enemies are, I sincerely doubt I'll need it. It's the two Russians from earlier. At least, it seems like the elf has come back online, though. Not that a couple level 8 clerics will be able to do much against us. Not surprisingly, the half-orc from earlier seems to be pretty angry. Suka, because of you, I died to a rolling cart. Why are you not here? The powerfully built cleric shouts at his pale companion. Izvini olog, Natasha Kotela, Jetjob, ya poshol mar magditizinium. The elf says, shrugging. What, Natasha? I thought you say mother called. You schlavaksh, liar, the half-orc screams. The elf gasps in pain as a pair of bolts slams into his back, his body flung forward, impacting the ground. Before the half-orc has time to react, a pair of rogues appear above the elf's prone body, sinking their daggers in between his shoulder blades. You have killed elf cleric, Vlad the not vampire, 8. You gain 30 experience. What? Who? The half-orc stammers, taking a step back. That's all he gets to say before Cobra tackles him to the side, bringing him to the ground. He doesn't even have time to gasp in shock before the sword finds itself embedded in his throat. You have slain half-orc cleric Rusky Olog 8. You gain 0 experience. By the time the two confused Russians are ready to spawn, my crew and I are long gone. That really got my blood pumping, I say as I slump into my office chair in the back of the hideout. Cobra snorts. Wasn't so bad. I remember one time with the tipsy hair. I met this fine wench with the eastern continent. Best hips I ever seen, I reckon. So, when her husband... I chuckle. As much as I'd love to hear the rest of that story, I'd like to grab a few minutes to eat something. Mind gathering up whatever loot you guys picked up from the 3 guards while I'm busy? Sure thing, boss. He smiles and he heads out the door. Oh, and if you want to hear a great story, then I should tell you this time that Cripple Bull and I went to Shank. His sentence is cut off as my mind disconnects from the game. Stepping out of my capsule, I do a series of light stretches before I put on my bathrobe. I've started to make a habit of only entering the capsule in nothing but my skin that I was made in. Sure, wearing pajamas or thin polyester suit that came with the device would probably be more optimal for someone who's ashamed of their body, but I can't deny the fact that sleeping in the thing without any clothes on is the most comfortable I can ever be. It also doesn't hurt that I get far less sweaty this way. Jesus, who even bothered to invent pajamas anyway? Most unnecessary piece of clothing ever. Must have been some prude. Utterly pointless. It's only been half a day since I last logged off, so I'm not hungry enough to eat as much as I usually do. A single packet of noodles is enough to sustain me for the duration of my break. I hurried over to the beanbag and stand in the corner. Being the minimalist that I am, the beanbag is pretty much the only suitable furniture that I have, except for my bed. I've had it for as long as I can remember, but I'm proud to say that it has never sprung a leak. Not even once. Do you realize how impressive that is? I'm not sure that you do. Long-time beanbag owners understand, though. I sigh. The last battle felt too draining on my psyche. It's like a pent-up stress from these last couple months is catching up to me. I am really starting to feel it. I haven't fricked up too hard yet, but I've come comfortably close a couple times this week. Playing as a Thief Lord is much more entertaining than playing as a Necromancer, but there are so many unknown factors in my life right now that makes it difficult to really unwind after a hard day of grinding. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't trade this for the world, but I could use a vacation, something with a different and stressless. I stifle a yawn as I sink deeper into the beanbag. Nothing really springs to mind when I think about it, at least nothing that I can combine with leveling up my character, and I'm not sure that if I want to make that sacrifice. It has to be something, though. Perhaps now the great time to go take a 3-day break. I still have to stay under the radar for a couple of days to lose whoever's pursuing me, and my dad and sister probably won't be able to log in for a few more days. I also have that weird meet-up with the Silver Saints planned. What if I just log in on a couple of hours per day and send my underlings out on missions while I relax in real life? That sure as a hell would feel great right now. I still have that book I want to finish reading. I sigh once more. That would be terribly inefficient, though. A couple of days offline means a couple of days without skill progression. Skill progression, that means the difference between life and death for my dream. My dream. My childish, glorious dream. What sort of 28-year-old man follows his dream these days? It's a bit early for a midlife crisis, isn't it? Do you know what? Frick that. Crisis or not, this is my life right now. I can't afford no damn break. Did Adolf stop conquering Europe just because Poland started whining? No. Did Jack the Ripper stop gutting hookers just because the people started chasing him? Hell no. Did Joseph admit that he'd made a mistake when he killed the same people that he was supposed to represent? Hell fricking no. Frick everyone else. I can't stop. Not until I win or everyone else is dead. Just like the other villains in history. If I need a break, then I'm going to sit safely on my rear making traps for 3 days straight. It's safe, mind-numbing, and efficient. Perhaps listen to a couple of Cobra's weird-ass stories. Hell, maybe I should talk Anna some more. No, wait. Scratch that last one. That's the opposite of relaxation. I devour the lukewarm bowl of noodles before I coil up my bathrobe into a ball and chuck it in the corner. Time to get my naked rear back in the game. Logging back in, I soon find myself sitting alone in the same chair as earlier, the only difference being the absence of Cobra and the addition of a small pile of items neatly stacked on my desk. Cracked Earth Element Staff, uncommon, 14 to 16 blood damage, minus 10% spell cost from Earth spells, plus 6 intelligent, plus 4 in wisdom, requires level 10, contraband. Enhanced Steel Caress, uncommon, 50% physical resistance, 30% magical resistance, plus 6 endurance, plus 4 strength, plus 2 agility, requires level 10, contraband. Noble's Ring, uncommon, plus 6 charisma, plus 2 endurance, requires level 10, contraband. 2 gold, 4 silver, 1 copper. Not bad. It seems like these 3 siblings dropped an uncommon item each, just as expected from elite mobs, I suppose. 2 of the items are sort of useless, but the Noble's Ring brings a smile to my face. Sweet! That's a huge boon to me. With that ring, my charisma is up to 81. That means I get to recruit 3 new underlings. Jesus, right now my gear is absolutely insane. Apart from my necklace, each and every equipped item is above level 10, and each and every item is at least uncommon rarity. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me that I'm the best geared level 11 player in the game at the moment. It almost makes me want to equip the cursed necklace just to see what happens. Almost. Okay, not at all, but I like the thought. Anyway, it's time to get the good gold cogs moving. With the job completed, I'm actually only 150 experience away from hitting level 12. That's an hour's worth of hard work, max. Another job completion is all I need for that to happen, since the sewers are off limits for a few days. It's a bit annoying that I've run into the daily jobs though, so I suppose 2 of my new underlings need to be beggars. With my current underlings, I think we can probably complete 4, maybe 5 jobs per day if we really get going for it. I don't think it's worth recruiting any more beggars though, as I doubt I'll have time to interest to finishing 5 jobs per day for the foreseeable future. At least not until I recruit another lieutenant. 2 beggars will do, and I suppose I'll recruit another spotter for the increased firepower. I shortly consider recruiting another specialist, but I don't really see it as viable yet. Maintaining specialists is a costly affair, and I'm still not quite out of my economical crisis yet. Increasing my fighting capabilities should go beyond all else. I suppose I'll also have to buy some weapons and armor for the spotter as well. That'll probably cost me around 7 gold. Another setback, but I'm sure it'll pay off in due time. It's better to build a strong base now and prepare for the future. Okay, I guess this means I have a plan. Recruitment and obtaining all the items we need for fighting and crafting should probably only take an hour or 2. Afterwards, I can take a 3-day break to focus on my crafting. I smile. It's going to be nice not to have to look over my shoulder for a few days. I yawn and I stretch my body. I wonder if we can manage to hit level 14. End of chapter. Chapter 62. Growth Spurt. Trigger mechanism has leveled up to Novice 13. Release mechanism has leveled up to Novice 13. Framework has leveled up to Novice 13. Mentor has leveled up to Novice 12. Congratulations, you have reached level 14. You have gained 9 free attribute points and 3 skill points. Oh god, that feels great. I grin as I look over my gains of these past 3 days. I would have loved to say that it was hard, but I really can't. This was incredibly relaxing and I loved almost every single moment of it. Really, do you know how great it is to just sit down and relax without having to worry about murderers lurking in the shadows? Okay, bad example. I mean murderers that were actually there to kill you. Thanks to the possibility of that just turning off my brain for a few days, my skill in trap making soared through the roof. I bet even Odin would be proud. This progress is phenomenal, and I bet my traps can now take out or just about anything within my level range right about now. This is going to be an amazing benefit going forwards. I just know it. Oh, and the best part, Cobra and the boys managed to bring me a level 14 and a little experience to spare. I didn't actually think that they would make it, but damn if Cobra didn't deliver. I had some doubts when he decided to take upon himself to hard-rated heist, but that little rascal actually pulled it off. All 3 of my low-level spotters died during the job, but since neither had crossed the level 10 mark yet, they didn't lose anything but their pride. Their jobs were successful though, and I'm glad the Cobra had the common decency to bring the gear back with them. If I had lost nearly 19 gold worth of items, I might have actually had a small emotional breakdown. Everything went well though, and Cobra managed to earn me a nearly 50 gold, several common grade weapons, as well as a bunch of crafting regions for both alchemy, cooking, and blacksmithing. I don't particularly need all this crap, but he did manage to acquire one pretty awesome item for me. Gilded ruby necklace, rare, plus 13 charisma, requires level 13. Contraband. I grin with glee. If it hadn't been because I already was in danger of outleveling my gear again, I might have actually crackled in glee upon maxing out my gear value like this. Well, I did cackle a little bit yesterday, but that's beside the point. The necklace by itself skyrocketed my charisma to 91. That means that I get to recruit 2 new underlings. Not only that, but if I add in all 9 attribute points I gained from leveling up, I can breach the 100 mark, effectively buying me the possibility of recruiting a 2nd lieutenant. Can you believe that? A 2nd lieutenant at only level 14. Arya would be freaking flip out if she knew. My luck stat would suffer greatly if I did this, but by God if it isn't worth it. Cobra isn't hands down my greatest thing that has ever happened to my crew, and I'll be damned if I won't grab the opportunity to double down on that. I slowly start adding the points in charisma, and it is a welcome surprise when I see that the 10% bonus to charisma I gain from my race, I only need to add 8 to the points to break the 100. Chuckling, I add the last point into luck, trying to even out the massive difference that I have accumulated. A voice at the back of my head tells me that I might have shot my future development prospects in the foot by skewing my attributes like this, but I am not too worried. The strength of my skills will obviously suffer, potentially more than I can handle, but my high charisma attribute also gives massive bonuses to my intellect, which in turn increases my potential for spell casting. Which brings me to my plan for allocating my 3 new skill points. I have to say, I spent a long time trying to weigh the benefits of this one, and with my massive growth spurt, I'm more than sure of my choice than ever, since I've already designed myself to be a much-needed support player my crew desperately needs. I decided to further enhance our chances of winning by giving myself a better ability to affect the battlefield. And since my class is unable to take it upon itself to do any major magic skills, as well as my illusion magic being useless at its low level, I have found the perfect addition to my spell repertoire: alteration magic. You have unlocked lesser magic school alteration. Magic across time has always pursued the pinnacle of magic. Who wouldn't want to create matter out of nothing, uncover secrets long forgotten, or shape the reality as we know it? Alteration offers a path towards manipulating both you and your surroundings. The alteration school has 2 diverging branches: body and environment. Spells available: stone skin. Alteration body spell hardens target skin, increasing their defense against physical damage by 15%, plus 0.2 times skill level for 30 seconds, plus 5 seconds per skill level. Cost 100 mana. Water breathing. Alteration body spell allows the target to breathe underwater. Cost 50 mana minus 0.2 times skill level, plus 20 mana per second minus 1 mana per second per skill level. Magic light. Alteration environment spell creates a magical light that can be attached to objects to hover over a target for 5 minutes, plus 10 seconds per skill level. Cost 50 mana minus 0.2 multiplied by skill level. Conjure oil. Alteration environment spell conjures a slippery oil on any surface in a 1 meter radius, plus 0.1 meter per skill level for 30 seconds, plus 1 second per skill level. Cost 300 mana. Oh yes, alteration magic. The school is pretty interesting and is often picked up by priests and other healing classes as a secondary school of magic. This is because stone skin is an amazing buffing ability for tanks, and there are also several very practical spells in the higher tiers that are just perfect for a sneaky little thief like me. The skills available are all amazing in their own right, and since I need to plan for the future, I want to pick up a spell from each of the 2 branches to open up more possibilities for the future. I've already made my mind on which skills I want, so I waste little time in using my remaining 2 skill points on picking up both stone skin and conjure oil. I grin. These spells are just what I need to increase my presence on the battlefield. I believe that the overall combat efficiency just increased by nearly 20%. These skills will definitely come in handy when we fight both bosses and players alike in the future, as well as add some flexibility to escape and create chaos in the battlefield. And this is before I even make my 2nd lieutenant into consideration, or even the 4 new underlings I can recruit. I swear, I almost have more power at the moment than I'd know what to do with. Just gearing these underlings is going to cost me a small fortune, and I even have to start organizing my combatants into 2 separate strike teams to increase efficiency. I know that I promised myself to finally pick up a cheat death skill, but the more I progress, the more I realize I haven't had much need for it lately. There is so many underlings at my disposal now that I don't even need to reveal myself during combat anymore. Not that it does me any good yet either, considering my abysmal luck attribute. At the moment, the only thing I can really do is set invisible in the background and buff my underlings while I overwhelm my enemies. This skill is still a high priority for me, but with my current passivity, it slowly creeps lower on the list of priorities. I'll get it soon enough, or else I'll risk some divine being striking me down for the sacrilege. Before all of that, though, I need to decide which underling I want to promote. Thinking about it, I have 3 options. Choosing another thug is already out of the question, so that leaves me with upgrading the cutthroat, a prowler, or one of my agents. Yeah, I know what you think. Promoting one of the combat classes is a great benefit of my overall combat potential, but I don't want to always have to rely on brute force during my encounters. Upgrading an agent could give me a lot of flexibility and possibilities for infiltration and deception, which is something I desperately need. Hell, even the game system possibly calls me a violent brute at this point. Do I really need to add more fuel to that particular fire? But then again, why not focus on something that I'm good at? I need to consider all the angles here. My new and improved combat tactic is based on guerrilla warfare, focusing on quick, brutal ambushes followed by a speedy retreat. This is why I have increased my ranged roster. Upgrading the Prowler would not only increase my damage output, but it would also give my ranged units a commander, freeing me up to do other tasks. On the other hand, upgrading a Cutthroat also comes with great benefits. No longer would I rely on scouting based on crude hand signals of my rogues. An underlings capable of giving me a full report would be a potential goldmine when it comes to operational intelligence. I could gain that and even more by promoting an agent, but a deadly assassin would be more helpful in a sticky situation. The choice is tough, but I think I'm going to go with a Cutthroat on this one. Mostly because I want a scout who can talk, but also because I'm a sucker for a powerful assassin. The Prowler would give me a powerful edge when it comes to my surprise attacks, but let's be honest here. I'm not really that busy during combat, and I have plenty of time to perform managerial tasks from the back line. I hate to say it, but it's true. I exit the crafting station that has been my home for the past few days and head towards the main hall of our hideout. My underlings just recently returned from their latest heist, and they are currently all hanging around, drinking themselves into a digital stupor. Hey Cobra, how's it hanging? I smile as I spot the loudest drunkard of them all. Oh, hey there, boss. It's hanging just fine. A little to the left, maybe. He guffaws. I wince. Of course, he took that literally. Never wastes a chance, that one. We've reached another milestone, I say, smiling. It's time for us to get another lieutenant to share your burden. What, really, boss? Who are you promoting? It better not be anyone better looking than me. I'll stab them, he says with mock outrage. Oh, please, is there anyone more beautiful than you? I wink. You know, besides everyone. Ouch, that hurts, boss. After all we've been through, it feels like you just stabbed a dagger through my heart, he says with a saddened face. The corner of his mouth betrays the smirk, though. Is that what we do, isn't it? I chuckle. Funny you should mention stabbing, though. I was thinking of promoting one of the Cutthroats. Any suggestions? He grimaces. One of the rogues. Are you sure, boss? I mean, yeah, stabbing things is a good skill to have, but those little rats aren't really good in a fist fight, you know. I recommend you have one of the thugs. Wait, he has an opinion on this? Why? Is this game trying to tell me something, or is this just another quirk of his personality? Why do you say that? Isn't it obvious, boss? The dwarf's pretty cute, and I like women who can punch back while in the sack, he grins. Okay, quirk it is then. Remind me to never ask again. No, I think I'm going to go for a Cutthroat in this one. We have 2 candidates, and given your previous suggestion, I'm withdrawing your right to vote on the matter. Wait, what? Not fair, he says, his jaw dropping. I snort, ignoring the odd guy. It seems like the game refuses to do any of the thinking for me. Not that I'm complaining, but it would be nice for some helpful information every now and then. So I have 2 candidates, the human or the purple-haired gnome. It doesn't really matter which one I choose, but there are some small things to take into consideration. The first is the obvious thing is that the human has been with me the longest, and it's only fair to promote him based on the seniority alone. He also looks the most nondescript of the 2 characters, with not really a single feature that stands out in a crowd. While that may be a good thing for a thief to have in real life, it doesn't really matter when in the game. The gnome, however, stands out like a sore thumb. I feel like the game did a better job sculpting her character, and it doesn't hurt to have a woman talk every now and then. Cobra is fun and all, but I'm starting to feel like this entire crew is turning into a giant sausage pest. I may be a sexist prick, but who the hell is around to point that out, huh? You have promoted Gnome Cutthroat 14 to Lieutenant. Would you like to name your lieutenant? Warning, all choices are final. Oh God, can I describe the satisfaction I get when reading this message? It feels just as great as it did the first time. I obviously opt to choose a name with my fresh lieutenant, and there shouldn't be any doubt that I have a perfect name lined up for her. Welcome to the team, Viper, I say with a wide grin. The gnome stiffens, almost as if a bolt of lightning just struck her. Looking carefully around, her eyes eventually meet mine. She immediately looks away, her face blushing. Thank you, my lord. I blink in surprise. What the hell? What sort of AI plants a shy personality in the tiny, ruthless killer? Are you freaking with me? Am I stuck with some sort of Japanese anime? I sigh. What a letdown. Oi, you chose the girl. Nice job, boss. Cobra shouts from somewhere to the side. Wielding a pair of mugs, he stumbles forward, grinning at my new lieutenant. He raises his arm, laying it over her shoulders. Hey, Toots, how about you and me get to know one another a little better, huh? He winks at her, grinning like a creep. A glint of steel flashes across my peripheral, soon followed by a painful shriek. Cobra clutches his flesh wound of his thigh, dangerously close to his nether regions. Don't call me Toots, she sneers coolly. Do that again, and my dagger won't miss next time. Cobra guffaws. You little witch! Oi, boss, we got a fiery one here. His gaze meets Viper before his smiles drop. I'll make you pay for that. Staring daggers at his tiny colleague, Cobra grabs the hilt of his sword, slowly dragging it out of the sheath. Before I can even blink, he swings the sword wide, but Viper deftly dodges backwards. She clutches the hilt of a dagger, bending her knees, and enters a nimble stance. Cobra's eyes harden, staring down as he takes a threatening step forward. I sigh. I should probably deal with this, but I really can't be arsed. Whatever happens, they are perfectly grown-up computer programs and can figure things out on their own. I am a criminal mastermind, not a preschool teacher. Don't kill each other, I say before I turn around, heading towards the exit. I have a new underling to recruit after all, and I can't waste time parenting these budding office romance. I head straight for the nearest tavern, almost forgetting that I need to take off my mask and activate my cosmetic disguise. It's been a few days since I did it, and that's no excuse for being tardy. I would feel pretty stupid if that was the reason for my untimely end, especially after getting a large boost to my power. I can't really say I planned on recruiting this many underlings at once, at least not this soon. It's only been a few days since I had one little over half the capacity I have now. I have a vague idea of what I need, but I can't say I've spent enough time properly to weigh my options. I will definitely get a couple more spotters, bringing my numbers up to 8, but I still have 2 left. My range units should be enough for people by now, so I guess it's time to start focusing on increasing my close-range fighters. I only have 2 cutthroats, so I should definitely recruit one of those. I need to spend some time on that excess gear that I collected from earlier after all. But what about the last one? I don't really need another agent, and I'm not in any particular need for another combatant for now. Well, I could always use more, many more actually, but I think that now might be a good time to consider another specialist. But which one? I'm still not sure I can afford another crafter, even though I want one. So the enchanter and the tinkerer are out. That only leaves the fence. It might be a bit early for me to get one, but I suppose it doesn't hurt. I need gold right now, and a fence is the right underling to help with that towards the goal. But is it worth it? I shrug. Meh, I suppose it doesn't really matter. I have 20 underlings now, and one premature decision isn't going to topple my reign. Besides, I would love to see what it can actually do. This is going to be interesting. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this match video. If you enjoy the story, please don't forget to go and show the author some support. And if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below. The easiest way to support this channel would be to subscribe and share as much as possible to help this channel grow. And I'll see you all in the next video, and until then I hope you all keep well and safe. Cheers.